Hello, Vishu.
Hi.
My name is Michael. I'm a representative from New Horizons, and we have this meeting today to discuss about UX UI design. You're a professional in that sphere. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself? What have you been doing in the IT industry and how are things going?
Okay. Sure. So my name is Vishu Aggarwal, and I am a corporate trainer from last 13 years. So I train bigger 500 MNCs, right? The 500 Fortune MNCs on UX and UI and many other technologies as a certified instructor by Adobe, by Unity 3D, and by Google and Apple. So uh, I I I look at the corporate requirements. People who want to upskill their knowledge in the latest technologies. I help them learn the new technology. Even people who are working in the industry for many years. And if you talk about the UX and UI, it's one of the most trending technologies I've been training on because that's the most requirement which I get as a corporate trainer nowadays because it is just not a new term. That's where whole industry is moving towards because they want to be a little different. And when they want to be different and present differently, so they basically take a lot of trainings in UX and UI. Besides just the UX and UI, I do a lot of practical projects as a freelancer. So I take up projects of UX and UI designing and helping my clients, get a optimal prototype ready for their projects. So I'm a certified Creative Cloud expert in all the softwares of Adobe. Professionally, I use Figma and many other prototyping tools such as Sketch, Azure RP, Prototype.io. There are many other tools which I use as a UX designer and been working in the industry for the last 15 years. I started my career as a graphic designer into a video editor and then becoming a corporate trainer. And from last 13 years, like I said, I've been doing now corporate trainings back to back and helping my clients gain knowledge.
Great. That sounds really amazing. You have been all over the place. You have seen many things.
Yeah.
And in your opinion, is this course popular nowadays?
Very popular. Like I said, like I would say out of my 100% of my trainings, at least 40 to 35% of the trainings are going into UX and UI. You name the company like Accenture, Deloitte, IBM, any bigger MNC like Target, they all are investing in hiring UX and UI designers because they want to make the experience for their clients and their customers to be, very different, right? And more enjoyable to use, easy to use, basically. So they're training their graphic designers, so-called graphic designers, web developers, and even their developers actually are going to the UX and UI trainings because they need to really understand the UX process so it can be implemented effectively in the company. It's one of the most popular courses as of now.
Okay. We will tell us a bit more about the course itself. What are going to be the topics? Will there be practical exercises? Will it be only in theory? In a couple of words, just describe the course.
Sure. So the UX and UI course, the first part is the UX, which talks about user experience. We have a theory, of course, in it because theory is very important to understand the UX process, but we just don't limit the training to the theory part. What we do is we talk about the theory, right? So after the theory, we give students practical time. So let's say we do a 10 minutes exercise within the class. Let's say how to create personas. Now, for some of the students, the personas term might be very rocket science, but it's like creating a fictional character, thinking about a fictional user who's going to use your app. So we do some activities during the class itself for 10 to 15 minutes and so that they can implement the theory practically. Besides that, after every class, we will be having a homework for the students. So based on the theory and the practical they have done in the class, they need to do a homework as a team. So they come together as a team. We divide the students into teams and they come as a team and they work together on a particular homework. So it is a mixture of theory, especially in the UX part and even in the UI part with some practicals. And we majorly focus on a tool which is known as Figma, one of the most popular tool in the industry as of now for the UX and UI designing. So we majorly focus on Figma as a tool and Figma Gem to do the activities. However, as a trainer, we are generally like free to answer the student queries on any other tool they have. Maybe sometimes student says, okay, can we do something similar in Adobe XD? So probably as a trainer, we can answer those queries of the students. But the primary tool which we focus on is in Figma, but we give some other tool knowledge, like what tools are available in the industry, what different kind of animations you can use in UI, what colors should you take in your UI, what is the psychology of colors, what kind of typography you want to have. These are all part of UI. Then in the UX, we cover about brainstorming, strategy, ideation, the UCD process, design thinking. We cover about business strategies. We talk about wireframes, user testing. So almost every aspect of the user experience and the UI interface is covered in this course.
Amazing. So basically everything. And the amazing part is that after each exercise and theory, you will be giving homework. Correct. So as I understand, it will be a teamwork homework, or it will be standalone, or will there be a mix-up to see what level everyone is at?
Yeah, so it is generally a mix-up. So what we do when we divide the teams, especially in the first day, we take up the experience of the students. So we try to mix that experience. So that someone is too much experience, and we don't want one team to just have experienced people in it, and one team to have just non-experienced people. So we try to mix it. So they gain a lot from each other as well when they work in the team, right? So someone who's a graphic designer already from last 10 years and wants to learn UX and UI, and someone who's coming as a graduate, when they two work together, there's a fun, fresh mind, one experience. When they work together, they're going to learn a lot together. So that's why we divide them into teams. However, maybe in the end project, we will tell them to work individually as well.
Okay. How would you define the prerequisites for this course? What skills potential students should have? Should they have used UX, UI, or any other tool to help them out in this course?
So as such, in this course, we don't give any prerequisites, but we recommend some points. So we recommend, if you know Figma already, that's going to be a helping hand. Or even if you have a basic knowledge in Figma, it will be great to have that, right? And if you can, read before the course starts, if you can read through some articles about what UX is, you can gather your some general knowledge about it, that will be great. But as such, there is no prerequisites for this course.
Okay, that's amazing. So pretty much everyone can apply who is interested in this topic.
Correct.
So after the entire course, the international certificate that you get after successfully passing the exam, what is it? What do you get? What's the benefit for getting this certificate? Can they start to work directly, or should they focus on something else to add up to their bio?
Yeah, so we provide the international certification via interaction.org, which is one of the most popular body for giving certifications in the UX, right? And its certifications are recognized worldwide. And it has a lot of learning material for the students as well. Plus, they do a lot of other practicals for the international exam. And if they pass the international exam, they get a certificate which is worldwide recognized. And after that, they can start working as a UX and UI designers. It also helps them build a portfolio.
Yeah, and the portfolio will help them out seek out job requests.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so as I am well aware, there is an internal exam. Will it be a multiple choice question, or it be only practical? There will be given an assignment. What is going to be?
So it is a mixture of two. The internal exam is majorly focused on MCQ questions initially. So you have to, of course, pass the internal exam of the MCQ. Then you will also have to submit your project as a team. And once you submit the project as a team, we, as a trainer, we evaluate that project and we give scores to you, right? And we combine the scores of both the internal exam and the practical exam or the project which you have submitted. And depending on that, your score will be decided.
Okay, amazing. And after everything, what should be the next step for anyone who has taken this course, successfully certified himself? in your vast opinion and knowledge, since you have been everywhere, what should be the next step?
So the next step would be to, of course, look for a job. If you're looking for a job, if you want to start as a freelancer, you can start as a freelancer. You can go to the lot of marketplaces like freelancer.com, Upwork, and you can start listing your work there, right? And you can get projects. So I would recommend students to start taking the projects as a freelancer, or at least build a strong portfolio. So you will have some applications and some example after the course, but you need to continuously build your portfolio. Take sample applications, sample interfaces, and see how can you build upon them, and how can you improve the user experience. For example, if you're using an app in your day-to-day life, you can think about what issues you have in that an app, and how can you resolve those issues. So this will help you create a strong portfolio, and you can then start applying for jobs or taking the freelancer assignments in the market.
Yeah. And what kind of a job position is suitable for those type of specialists who have just certified? Okay. What should they search for the freelancing and for current job requirements?
So that's a very good question. So basically, there are two jobs you're generally going to get in UX. One is the user experience designer, and one is the user interface designer, basically. So you might not be good in both of them. So you can just choose the expertise you like to work with, right? You can apply as a user interface designer or a UX designer. Some of the companies, if it's a startup or it's a small scale company, they might want to have both skills in you, right? If you go to a company like Google, they might ask you, you just need to be a user research expert, right? You just need to be a user tester expert, right? So you can also choose a particular field. So user experience is a big umbrella. It has a lot of fields and jobs in it, right? But if you want to just get started as a small company or as a freelancer projects, just search for user experience design projects or user interface design projects. Okay. Or you can also pick design projects of like app designing, website designing as a web designer, and you can apply your UX principles there.
So yeah, for if I understand correctly, the first step is completing the course, getting the certification, and then the main struggle, the most important part is working, because the knowledge you get from a job or a freelancing offer is
it's not something you can, of course, get in training. So, of course, in the real world, when you face a challenge, you're going to learn a lot more, right? And that's really going to be a stepping stone for your strong career ahead.
Okay, so I think we covered most of the topics. If there's anything that you would like to add, maybe encouragement for newcomers. Okay.
Sure. So see, first of all, everybody can be a designer. First of all, I say that, right? You don't have to think that you are creative or not. So everybody can be a designer. It totally depends, how you observe your daily life. So you don't have to be a graphic designer to be a UX and UI designer. You don't have to be a web designer to be a UX and UI designer. You can be from a management field. You can be from any field, and you can still do it. I've seen a lot of people making career changes and coming to the UX and UI as a UX designer or a UI designer. So free feel to explore yourself, right? You can be a designer. You can be a user researcher, right? You can have an analytic mind to apply there. So this particular course is for everyone, right? And you don't have to always be creative here, right? Because it's a teamwork. So you have to bring those brains together and work together. So it's a great course to learn, right? And a skill to have actually. And even if you're a person who basically not be interested in designing user interfaces, let me tell you one thing: the user experience design methodology can be applied across any field. Whether you are in MBA, whether you are a doctor, whether you are a lawyer, it can be applied anywhere. So it's a fundamental principle of psychology, how people react to certain things, how people brain works, right? So this particular principles can be applied across any region, right? Any field, I would say. And you're going to explore a lot about human psychology as well during this course. So this course does not help you in a particular field. It can help you in your work, in any kind of a field or a job you are currently placed into.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time. This was really amazing. I'm glad that we sat down and talked through all the topics and questions. And yeah, I hope this inspires new UX UI designers to try out your course and sit down with you.
Sure. I will love to see all my students. So
thank you very much again for your time.
welcome.
Bye.
Bye.